Survey carried out in Nigeria have shown that the use of substandard building materials, poor workmanship, the use of quacks instead of professionals, among others, have contributed immensely in most of the recorded cases of building failures. Consequently, this often results to building collapse, which has adverse effects on both people and investments in the building industry. Some states and Abuja, the nation's capital, have recently witnessed this disaster, which has not only destroyed property, but led to loss of lives. The question on the lips of many is, what are relevant authorities and regulatory bodies doing to address these menace? These, among others, are questions our guest will give answers to on Saturday Discourse today. I am Abdullah Hajia. The program continues in just a moment. Do stay with us. We will begin with security stories. The FCT Police Command has released the man arrested for attempted suicide, Alhaji Yushau Shuaibu, on bail to his lawyer, Deji Adeyanju. It would be recalled that Alhaji Yushau had attempted to commit suicide by climbing a broadcast mast belonging to Asu Radio in Katampe, Abuja on July 8. He was arrested and subsequently sent to the FCT's Social Development Secretariat for mental assessment and evaluation. A statement by the command spokesperson, SP Josephine Ade, says the assessment report indicates that he is mentally stable. However, symptoms of anxiety, persistent worry, and fears were discovered in the course of profiling him. The FCTASDS recommends that the suspect should be allowed to report weekly in their office for future psychosocial care and support. Hence, the reason for admitting him to bail. Following his release on bail, his lawyer, Deji Adeyanju, is required to present him whenever his presence is needed to the command. All is now set for the first round of 2024 of the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Care Week in the Federal Capital Territory, as it is set aside to deliver maternal, newborn and child survival interventions. Mandate Secretary, Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Dr. Adedolakbo Fashawe, represented the Permanent Secretary, Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Dr. Babagana Adam. Cecilia Julius reports.
The Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Care Week, scheduled for July 20th to 24th, 2024, across the 6 aerial councils of the FCT, aims to deliver a package of key maternal, newborn and child survival interventions proven to reduce maternal, neonatal and child mortality. Speaking to media professionals in the FCT on preparations and activities for the week, the Mandate Secretary for Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Dr. Adedolakbo Fashawe, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Dr. Babagana Adam, stated that the health initiative will target children from 6 to 59 months, as well as provide other essential health services in the FCT.
This round of the MNCH Week provides free healthcare facilities-based service like vitamin A supplementation for children 6 to 59 months, vitamin A deworming of children 12 to 59 months, family planning services, hand washing demonstration, focus antenatal care and administration of IPT to malaria in pregnant women.
Partners, while pledging support to the cause, appealed for aid in delivering key health interventions.
I'm very optimistic that this round will do, in this round will do better. This round will do, in this round will do better and it is surpass what we have achieved.
Every household to take advantage of the exercise and services provided during the week. In Abuja, Cecilia Julius, NTA News.
In the last 1 year of the present administration in the FCT, bulldozers have been rolled out rehabilitating and constructing more roads in the city center and across the 6 area councils. While efforts of the weak administration is being commended, there are calls for the administration to focus more on improving road infrastructure in the hinterlands of the area councils. Tessie Omeri reports.
Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, is said to be one of the fastest growing cities in Africa, with infrastructure to enhance its development. Realizing the importance of road, the present administration in the FCT is sustaining the trajectory. Bulldozers and caterpillars rolled out across FCT to fix and construct more roads.
When you hear that government is coming to an area, what they know them is they are coming to demolish. But it's very surprising that this time around is a very heavy project. In fact, 2 projects in the community. Road construction and construction of our primary school.
By the grace of God, seeing this project, in fact, we are so grateful.
While others are celebrating, others are seeking attention.
Abuja is putting a new look now, but that is up there in the city. But we living in satellite towns, we are really suffering. Every traffic checkpoint in Cuba, where I live, must have potholes.
Even the one they even managed to do gutter before, the gutter is blocked.
In the last 1 year, record shows that more than 130 roads in the FCT and its 6 area councils have been rehabilitated, with new ones also constructed for accessibility to hard-to-reach communities. Notable among the reconstructed roads are the Yenche Road in Gudunkaria Ward in Kuje, Rubochi to Simami and Yana roads, among others that have received attention, some for the very first time in decades. Another interesting one is the 15 asphalt legacy roads cutting across the 3 zones of the 12 political wards of Abuja Municipal Area Council, like the KT, Kubo, Waru, and a host of others.
Our Honorable Minister, he's doing his best at the top, though he has transformed some to the rural areas. But the most feeder roads, I've taken it upon myself because these are communal roads that leads to our communities. And secondly, these are where most of economic activities takes place. If I play with the picture of Mumba village, you can't go there. When it rains, everybody remains there, nobody move out. But to God be the glory, that was my first project. Go there, you will smile. And the economic activities have picked up.
While some of the road projects have been completed and inaugurated, more new ones have been flagged off, including the dualization of Kuje Main Road and the very recent Kwaita Yebu Road in Kwali. FCT residents are no doubt in celebratory mood, with road construction in both the rural and urban centers. But like Oliver Twist, they are begging for more, especially in the hinterlands, so as to boost economic activities and for easy access to farmlands. From Kubwa Satellite Town in Abuja, I am Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Building codes in Nigeria have established minimum standards, guidelines and regulations to be observed in a civil contraction, as well as sanctions to be meted out to the built environment professionals who contravene these codes of ethics. With the recent recurrent building collapse-induced disaster in parts of the Federal Capital Territory, how much of adherence to this regulatory framework do the industry players observe? Onuti Yakubu brings us perspectives to the life-threatening industry challenge in recent time.
Flashback to July 3rd, 2023, Cafe District in the Life Camp area. A high-rising building under construction collapsed, trapping 9 site workers in the rubble. Preliminary investigation of the disaster revealed that on commencement of the project, site engineers advised the developer to stop work after the project failed integrity test based on the topography of the location. But the developer failed to heed the advice.
A test was conducted to determine the integrity of the structure. The consultant advised him personally that please don't do anything on the site, because if you do anything, it's going to collapse.
We were just informed that instructions and notices were served. Stop work. Even the consultant site advised that no further construction work should be done on this site.
Late in December the same year, residents of Garki 2 were taken unaware as an old residential building caved in, killing 2 with several others rescued alive. Reports also indicated that the property owner was also advised to evacuate the structure for remedial measures.
We need to know what was the real cause of this wall collapse, and the engineer at site, the development control and other relevant SDS will get him to ensure to interview him and get his own version of the story.
The most recent building collapse in the FCT occurred barely 36 hours ago at the Unity House along the Muhammadu Buhari Way, Area 11. Preliminary report also indicated that the 4-story building, which was under restructuring, failed integrity test with the development control and other relevant monitoring and enforcement units calling for a halt on the ongoing projects. However, as it is the culture amongst developers, the caution was ignored until the building caved in.
Oftentimes, when structures are marked, it's not about demolishing the structures, it's drawing the attention of the developer to stop further development until issues are rectified. But you know, who we are in this part of the world, people hardly respect authorities. That's why you see sometimes we are hard on them. Like this structure is an existing structure that has been here for more than 20 years. But obviously, you could see some modifications and renovations taken on.
Experts say the construction of buildings and enforcement of standards is a collective responsibility of professionals in the built environment. However, the events of the recent past in FCT seem to stress the lack of strict adherence to building codes for the smooth operation of the construction. Beyond the utilization of substandard equipment to compromise structural integrity, according to experts in most cases, geologists also advocate the enactment of framework to mandate soil examination and evaluation, taking topography into cognizance to determine viability of certain projects on specific locations. In Abuja, Onnotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Onotu, giving us perspective and views of expert, and still staying with expertise view. And at this moment, I have an expert architect, Ajibade Adeyinka, a deputy director, building inspectorate of the Development Control Department, FCTA, to also shed more light on some of these issues we're raising. You're welcome to Saturday Discourse, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, well, if you actually followed that report, a lot of issues being raised. Now, as an expert, what's your take on this increasing menace of building collapse in the nation's capital and elsewhere in Nigeria?
Yes, do I first say my condolences to the victims of recent building collapses in the country, not only in FCT. But let me be particular about FCT. The causes is multifaceted. An attempt has been made to break it down and find a solution to it. So you see, it's we've been able to say there are about 5 critical players in the building industry, which we call the 5 C's. We say first C is the client, or the developer who wants the house. The second C is a group of consultants who design the project. Then the third C is what we refer to as the control agencies. The fourth C is a contractor. And the last, not the least, is the community in which the building or the project is being set up. So all these are critical players in the building industry. Now, each one has a role or multi-roles to play. And the synergy must be there in order to avoid incidences of building collapse. Now, you talk about professionalism and quackery. We have quackery in the heart of consultancy, where people who are not registered tend to present themselves as competent people who can execute the business of design of buildings. And we also have quackery, which is a major bane in the construction company itself, angle itself, where people who don't have a competence are involved in the act of installing a building system. So this is where the major thing lies.
Okay, well, if I understand the activity of the development control functions per se of the development control, I know they do so much. So if actually the development control, takes care of some of the inspection, approval, so why then do we still have the issue of probably integrity tests that some of these buildings, fail over time?
Now, you see, is compliance to the approved building plan is a problem.
Okay.
On the part of the owner who wants to shortchange, who want to cut costs, or on the part of a contractor who wants to maximize his business profits by reducing the quality as promised. Then we have the laxity on the consultant or the absence of the consultant in this program, where a developer becomes a contractor and he boycotts the consultant, or where a situation where the client meeting an incompetent contractor without the input of a consultant to regulate and help achieve the desired result. This is often the case.
Okay, well, if also we talk about building approval given to to every building that must, be constructed in the FCT. So where then do we begin to get some of this infringement? I thought the development control is supposed to be monitoring every stage of, the building.
Very correct. There is a lot of monitoring going on. But monitoring in itself is an attempt to ensure that the established system works. But if the flow does not work, an officer monitoring is not there during the production of the building. The person responsible for the production of a building is a building contractor on site. The person who should supervise him is the client's agent, who is a consultant, to ensure that the design the production meets the design specification. Development control role is to ensure that this synergy exists on every site. But however, because of cost-cutting issues and you observe that most developers want to do it by themselves in what they call direct labor, where they go to the market to buy, where they appoint laborers, quack contractors, and they try to install a building, which is beyond their expertise. This is often the crux of the matter. But if we keep ourselves to our duties, where only recognized, registered, and qualified contractors are on the field, it will drastically reduce the risk of building collapse.
Now, if we take it further, talking about enforcement, now, I know you go around to observe some of, such infractions. Beyond advising, stop work, don't continue, do you also have the power to enforce, maybe through arrest, so that we don't get to that stage where lives are lost before we begin to act?
When you have a recalcitrant developer, a civil servant will not work in the night. They will work overnight, on weekends, on public holidays to beat the system. The issue is that the penalty is weak. The deterrence is not there. So they get away with all these things because in the best practice, a developer had no business installing a building. It should be handled by professional consultants and professional contractors. He's just the financier. If we maintain this model and the synergy, building collapse will come to the barest minimum.
All right, well, before we let you go, you have this platform quickly to advise FCT residents and prospective developers or those who will be putting one structure or the other in complying with some of these rules.
My advice is it is cheaper for both the investor to comply with the Directive of Development Control and follow the processes and procedures laid down. 2, a well-built structure gives a better experience for the occupants.
Thank you very much, Architect Ajibade Adeyinka, Deputy Director, Building Inspectorate Development Control Department of the FCTA, for coming to share your thoughts and also enlightening us and our viewer out there on some of these things we need to do to forestall further recurrence of building collapse in the nation's capital and also Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, well, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, the program continues in just a moment. Do stay.
Good evening, glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
We celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
The
news station NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Glad to know you're still there. Let's talk sports now. 20th July every year is World Chess Day. The day recognizes and celebrates chess as one of the most ancient intellectual and cultural games, which combines sports, scientific thinking, and elements of art. Sports correspondent Francis Kabile tells us more about the day and the commemoration in Abuja.
Chess is a two-player strategy board game. With the earliest version of the game recorded in the 6th century, chess has since evolved and has now become a global game which promotes fairness, inclusion, and mutual respect. Little wonder the International Chess Day has been commemorated on July 20 every year.
Chess makes you think very well. It helps in developing your thinking ability, problem-solving skills, your ways of planning and strategizing in life generally.
It strengthens your cognitive reasoning, your ability to focus. It helps you to process faster.
The 2024 commemoration of the day comes as a double celebration as it coincides with the centenary of the establishment of the International Chess Federation in Paris in 1924. To celebrate the day this year, the world chess community embarked on a mission to set the Guinness World Record for the most chess games played in 24 hours, hoping to crack at least 1 million games. Nigerian chess players, both young and old, joined their counterparts all over the world in the record attempt at Rupeta Academy, Abuja, as they overcame the 8-hour barrier.
We're celebrating with FIDE here in Nigeria to show them our solidarity, our love and passion for the game of chess. So kudos to FIDE for their 100th anniversary. And this is an attempt we are going to break. So collectively, we're going to make it happen.
The attempt, which was a success, now awaits ratification by the Guinness World Record. In Abuja, Francisca Bile, NTA News.
Thank you, Francisca. And that concludes our package on today's episode of Saturday Discourse. Until we come your way again next week, bye for now. I am Abdullah Hajia.